What is happening, guys? Today we are doing a box unveiling. Just kidding. More computer components. And by the basis of the video, you already know what it is. GeForce RTX 5070. No, it's not a 5070. It's an RX 580. The first ever graphics card I ever owned. This is the first GPU. It seems well cleaned. It does come with HDMI 3 display ports, and obviously they took really good care of it. It looks very well conditioned. And again, this is the first graphics card I ever owned, and we're going to see how well it games on all the games that we have available. Again, it's cool that he sent me a 5070 box. I'll keep that because they went from an RX 580 to a 5070. So, W upgrade for them. I went from a RX 580 to a 1070. So, 1070 Ti. Sorry. ROG, I think. So cool. We got a new box for the shelf. Shadow 2. So it's a pretty small guy there. We're gonna test it, make sure it works, and yeah. Well, that's not a super great sign, right? That's finally done spinning. We'll see if we get an image. Okay, let's get into this bad boy. And we might just download the automatic drivers, I guess. Reinstall the drivers and see if it pops up. No, there it goes. It's already working. All right, well, that's good. Again, this is an AMD system, so it's best just to run the installers and things like that to make sure it's running at optimal. We have our chipsets and things like that, so this is just simulating. One is going to continue running the benchmark, and then it's also going to be continuing to run a temperature test, see how bad it gets, if it's pretty rough, is it good, blah, blah, blah. And then, see where we're going from there. So we'll let this run for like half hour and see where we're at. So it looks like the RX 580, it's been running for about a half hour at 1080p. Averages about 64 FPS on firmark, and it's got about 74 degrees, and it's stayed there at this point. So the temps look good on this. Okay, so first game we're going to be playing is CSGO. We are running at 100% utilization in the menu, so that's always fun. Dust 2. We're at 1080p high settings, so we're going to take a look here. All right, allow. Yo. My cat loves fucking with the... Wow. All right. So, yeah, we can double check here. I'll show you guys. So we're at video. Oh, we're at 1440 actually. So 1080p. 1080p high settings, and damn. We did. I mean, again, it's like a standard Ryzen thing for this like some micro stutters at the beginning of the benchmark. I don't know why it does that. It seems to do it quite often, with a lot of, especially lower end. AMD cards, and we will compare the comparisons with the Ryzen 5 7600X 3D as well. So 1440. All right, 1440p. We're definitely going to be less frame rate, but we're not VRAM limited, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty solid. I mean, yeah, 100 FPS. Not super crazy or nothing, but you know the CPU and GPU are working well together here. It's not being super bottlenecked. But the GPU is and has been running at max capacity the entire time, so.
Diffusing. Defusing the bomb.
Bomb has been defused.
Honestly, 83 FPS at 1440 for a card that came out 10 years ago. I mean, again, it's an esports card, so label that how you want, right? Alright, so I think that's pretty much about what we're going to get. So 60 FPS at 1080p medium with DLSS FSR 3 enabled with quality. So I mean, realistically, GPU still being heavily bottlenecked, especially with like the highest frame rate we got in this was 55 frames per second. The average was what, 50, basically 50 frames per second. You know, the input latency was pretty rough. So we're going to go to settings, 1080p. We're going to go to advanced. Everything is on ultra. This should play a pretty good game because this game was really prevalent in the era of PUBG. Let's get out of here. It's not entirely terrible, but it's for me it's a little bit much. I mean, honestly, low to high, the only difference is this like kind of anti-aliasing and shadows that are farther away. So I mean, it's not super bad. It could be worse, but yeah, we're doubling the frame rate with uplifting the GPU. Lowering that so it puts some more stress on the CPU versus the GPU. But again, if you lower your settings, you're bound to get better frame rate. The game might not look as good, but and especially in a first-person shooter game where frames matter more than anything else. Wow, we are playing Rainbow Six Blurs. All right, let's go to graphics. So we are at 900p. Why? I don't know. So we're turning VSync off, frame rate limit off. We're going back to 1080p. We're gonna go to graphics. We're gonna run. We'll do ultra because we're underneath that 5 gig limit as well. And let's run benchmark. All right, not bad. So we got 124 FPS at 1080p Ultra settings. We could obviously jump down to from Ultra to like medium. with 2 gigs of VRAM. Again, pretty much anything can run this game at this point. It's never been a super graphic intensive game to begin with, so I'm not surprised. We're going to do 1080p medium. So we're gonna check out settings. We're at 1080p. Render resolution, it says ultimate performance. We're gonna go quality, FSR. And we will do, let's just do high preset. We don't want to go too crazy. It's blurry. It's got some problems, but it's playable. We're at 50 FPS right now, getting about medium range of like 45 FPS at 1080p. Honestly, not terrible. If I had a $50 to my name, I would be, I would dump down the settings probably, and we will here. It's a 1080p gaming card. Let's be honest here. Not that I like using FSR or anything, but it would be even more playable. Holy crap, that's
Zone phone is dead.
So, final verdict RX 580 in 2025. It's a pretty decent card. It does game things pretty well. My biggest standouts, in my opinion, was probably Counter Strike. Honestly, handled it fairly decent. Obviously, the CPU is way over spec for any of these graphics cards, but I wanted to make sure that was everything that we could do to try and get this card to be maximum performing without any compromises. The Vega 64 is just overall just generally better, 50 to 60% better in terms of just overall performance in general. Any game that we threw at 1080p at the same settings, it outperformed the games just by marginally. It's just how these cards are functioning. I was a little unimpressed with the Battlefield 6 results. I mean, 60 FPS gaming is fine, but for how old the card is, I'm honestly surprised it was even getting that at 1080p medium settings at 100% resolution scale. Getting the resolution scale down a peg to like 70% seemed to be good texture overall with getting good frame rate. So I'm not terribly upset, but for the price that I bought this Vega 64 for $50, it blows the RX 580 out of the water. If you were going to compare these two cards, in terms of pricing, so let's take a look at that right now. So Vega 64s in total are going roughly about $72. It looks like 70, 185. So there are a few Vega. So basically, it looks like average is about we'll just say $80 to be safe. They're in the range of $50, $60 in that range. I'm pretty sure this is the one I bought for $50. That was actually working and in prior condition. So these are actually a little bit more expensive, being that it's like $69, $64, $80. In my opinion, just buy the Vega at this point. The differences in terms of gaming is actually quite drastic, honestly. In my personal opinion, Battlefield 6 was not a big difference between this and this graphics card and this graphics card, and I think a lot of that is the VRAM limitations. Even at 1080p, at pretty much any setting, I at least I put it on, it was maxing out the VRAM pretty consistently. So, my opinion, RX 580 in that instance is a clear not total loser in my opinion. You can crank the reds down, get more FPS. You can go down in resolution and crank the resolution scaling down to get those desired effects. That's entirely up to you. But 60 FPS gaming, it felt okay. If you were to turn on like anti-lag within the FSR settings, you'd probably be getting a little bit of a better experience, but the game doesn't support it natively. Maybe the card doesn't support it. I'm not 100% sure. Probably not. It's a pretty old card. But in hindsight, revisiting the first graphics card I ever bought, honestly, it wasn't disappointed. It did game on pretty much everything that I threw at it at nearly 60 FPS. The only outlier, Cyberpunk 1080 Ultra, was awful. Running it at maybe medium and FSR, it looks fine, and it gamed at 60 FPS. So it still games. It's still functioning. What am I glad that I upgraded to it? Hell yes. But if I had gotten the Vega 64, and then if I got this, then I got the Vega 64, I would have been more probably happy. Basically, the Vega 64 is a 1070 Ti, which is basically what I did end up upgrading to in the future from this. It was a ROG 1070 Ti. So it was a pretty decent upgrade. It wasn't like life changing or anything, but it was a pretty good upgrade for me at the time, and it gave me an NVIDIA, the access to NVIDIA, which didn't really have anything going for it at the time. It didn't have any like super advanced ray tracing or any of those type of features. So those didn't really exist. Those before the 20 series even came out. So it was cool to revisit my RX 580. I do have another RX 590 on the way. That's going to be either a full video diving into the RX 590 versus the RX 580. depending on how the video goes, I bought it for $30 and it was for parts, but they don't know if it actually is broken. They can't verify that. I got it for a great deal on eBay. So whether or not that's a great video, check out my other socials, TikTok. If it isn't a full-fledged video, it might be a YouTube short and a TikTok. So if you would like, please follow that. The YouTube shorts are something I'm trying to do to try and bring more attraction to the videos. I've been really enjoying making more content and making the content a lot better, diving more into the videos and going back and making sure I got everything golden. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate you. Again, links for my other social medias down below for TikTok and other social media sites. So thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.